Hello. Welcome to Sideways Day. I don't know why this happens sometimes, but there we go. Ta-da! We're back in action. And yes, we are the right way around and not sideways. To all of you who are joining who don't know me, this is the kind of professionalism that you can expect with me every week. I'm English with Jen. I teach conversation English. I am from the United States. I live in Germany. And every single week, I bring to you a new topic for us to cover. We have vocabulary, idioms, phrasal verbs, conversation points. On Tuesdays, I'm now going live and bringing people on with me to chat and to practice your English. So welcome to our lesson. If you don't already follow this account, please feel free to do so. If you are watching this, if you could just click that like button if you like this. That would be great because somehow the algorithm is just, persnickety is a nice word. Yeah, and it doesn't really showcase anything that I've done unless there are not lots of likes. So for example, last week in our live stream, we had about 22 people. That was the best turnout so far that I've had on YouTube. And it was the worst. The views were one of the lowest that I've had so far. And the likes are also the lowest. So it shows me that it's really important. Hello, Michaela. Hello, Sugar. Hello to you. Or I guess Kateria, maybe. And Alessio. Hello, guys. And 3 others. If you like the video, then please feel free to like it literally on the app, because it really does push it into the universe so that our community, hello Sandra dear, so that our community can grow and I can eventually be monetized. Da, da. Anyway, I hope you're all doing very well. Hello, Mohammed. Welcome, dear. So we have the second part of our live stream. We have our topic personality, and let's see what we've got here. Let me throw up my first banner for us. I will get rid of my little ticker. If you don't already follow me, you can do that there. English with Jen, that's where you can find me here on YouTube. And my first question for you today is, what is your best personality trait? And have you always had this trait? So what do you think are some good personality traits that you possess? And have you always had this? Yeah, so I think it's kind of an interesting question. So in my case, I have always done things I want to do. Like, I don't live in fear. Even as a kid, if I wanted to go and do something, I'd do it. I ended up moving to Germany, even though I didn't speak the language or have a job, or even I couldn't be here legally. So I've always kind of had a little bit of probably naivete where you just have trust somehow in the universe and think things will work themselves out. And so I think that's a quality that is one of my best qualities. Otherwise, if I didn't have that, I would never have started YouTube or Instagram first. I'm one of these people who has an idea and I roll with it. And I just don't really care if I fall on my face, whatever, who cares? I think life is about trying things out. So this is a personality trait that I like about myself, and I have always been this way. Another thing about my character, so I'm really interested in your character, but I'm just talking to fill the time here. But I think another thing that I like about my character, loyalty and honesty. Okay, so these are things that you've always had, even since you were a child, Alessio. And for me as well, I've always been drawn, like attracted. So it's another way of saying attracted, or sort of like magnetic. So magnets are drawn to each other. I'll write it in literally drawn, the past tense of draw. But we say drawn, and let me get rid of this real quick or pop that up there. It's like, okay, yeah. Okay, so drawn, so I've always been drawn to people that were different. I always want to know people's story. It comes from a place of not being nosy necessarily. It's more like I just would rather talk to people who are different, have different ideas, different opinions. come from a different place, look different, are different. And I've always loved that. So I think that my personality has changed over the years. We will definitely talk about that because I'm curious. Or actually, screw it. Let's talk about it now. Renit, how has your personality changed? Hello to you. I'm not sure if your name is Yurukova. Probably that's your last name, I'm guessing. So Zornitsa, maybe. Hello and welcome. I don't know your name, so I'm very happy to have you here today. Welcome, welcome. So how has your personality changed? Two questions. I'm going to pull up Renit's question here for us. How has your personality changed? And also my question, what is something that has always been the same about you? I'm curious to hear what you have to say. I think my personality throughout the years has changed because I care less and less about what people think. I really, people write the crappiest things sometimes during a live stream. And, in the beginning, it was like, oh my God. But now I don't really care. It's like, really, it's a reflection of you. I can't help you. So yeah, people are going to think what they want. I always get told that I'm actually a man, like, really, do I need to defend this? Is this, stop. Anyway, so I don't care, but I think that like maybe 20 years ago, I would be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Any kind of critique or criticism. Hello, Carlos. Hello. I think that's Carlos or Juan Carlos. So welcome, welcome. Nice to have you here. Hypnotized and professional look, I think. That so I'm not quite sure what you mean by hypnotized and professional look. That is how your personality has changed, or that's how you've been. You're hypnotic. So if you're hypnotic, you're kind of mesmerizing, you're fascinating, you give off that kind of interest or energy. Hello, Juan Carlos dear. Nice to have you here on YouTube. Welcome. I think because I was more narrow-minded. Yeah, me too. But since I began learning English, no way, get more open-minded and more social. Wow. And so do you think it's by like meeting other people or just expose it? Like, I'm curious how that happened. That's a beautiful thing. That's an extension of learning a language. How cool is that? I love that for you. Very cool. But maybe it's maybe learning a language. Hello, Natalia, sweetie. Oh, nice to have you here today too. So maybe learning a language is a little bit like traveling. And so maybe it's kind of like when you travel, it opens up your mind to other perspectives, to other opinions and ideas and things that can work in a different way. And so maybe learning a language for you, Renate, has kind of been that. I don't know, I'm putting words in your mouth, but you can tell me. Yeah, I think my personality has changed over time. How has it changed, Alessia? What would you say? I think that for me, I'm a little grumpier. Hey, Yuki, sweetie. I'm a little grumpier nowadays. Like I see it with my kids. They do things. I'm like, I can't deal with this. And before I was much more like, yeah, okay. I never really liked to say no and try to find a compromise. And now I'm just like, no. No. And I don't like that. I think that's bad. That's for me a sign of aging when you get to a point where you're more like, you say more no's than you say yeses, or your instant thought is no and not yes. And I'm definitely a yes person, so I don't like that about myself. Yuki, and for those of you who've just joined, we have two questions floating out there right now. Hello, Lorena, sweetie. Perfect timing. We have Renee's question here. How has your personality changed during the years? And we have also my question, which I will pop up right quickly, which was, which is your best personality trait? And have you always had this trait? Is this something that has been part of you forever? Like Alessio said that he's always been honest. And I think it was loyal, I want to say. Let's scroll back and see. Yes, loyal and honest. And yeah. So, what can you tell me about yourself? And we will slowly but surely move on to another topic. But thank you, everyone, for answering. And really quickly, another little, now that we have like the majority of the people that will probably show up, if you don't mind, after this live stream or during or whatever, I have no idea how it works on YouTube. If you can like this live stream, that would be really great. I was kind of surprised because last week we had 22 people in our live stream. And I think 11 people or so liked it. And even though we had 22 people, I thought the algorithm would be like, woo, this is kind of a popular lesson, and would shoot it out to other people, but it didn't. In fact, it was actually my worst live stream hours wise and views wise. It's really strange. So let's test it and see if you like this live stream. No pressure, but if you could like it, that would be really great. My personality has changed over the years. So how has it changed? I'm curious. Are you more open-minded? Like for Ranit, he says he's now more open-minded. Since he started learning English, his mind has expanded. He's way more open. I think that's cool. Or has it done something negative? Sri Dev, darling, hello. So happy to have you here. This is the first time on my live stream. Thank you for joining. Very happy. Let's boogie on to our next point. If you would like to continue and answer this, no problem, but I'll just continue on if you don't mind. So let's see. Oops, let me pull up my slides here and see where we're headed to. Okay, this is kind of cool too. So let me get rid of our banner here and pull up our first slide for today. Okay, so influences. So how do looks influence personality? What would you say? How do looks overall influence personality? Do you think that it plays a role? If so, how? If not, how? What do you think? And maybe you can even describe for yourself. But I have always been honest and sincere and just a little bit stubborn. I'm a lot stubborn. I am very stubborn. I get the stubborn thing. Everybody in my family is like, oh, gosh, just be flexible sometimes with things, because I'm like, nope, I'm gonna do it. My personality has changed in the years. Now I am more open-minded as well. Cool. And conscious than the past, and more conscious than in the past. Sorry, excuse me. So, and more conscious. Yeah. And I hope that this is something that for me, I tend to say no more, so it feels more closed-minded, but I think I'm more open-minded. I think our community where we exchange ideas and learn how other people live, for me, really helps to open my mind. I really love learning from other people, and it's nice to see that other ways work. I am always trying to be nice to people around me. It doesn't change. Okay, so this is something that you've always, and Yuki, there's a super word for this. If you always try to be nice to people and then you want them to like you, this is called a people pleaser. A people pleaser. A people pleaser. And you got to be careful, right? Because people can take advantage of that. People typically do try to take advantage of that if someone is a people pleaser. So yes, that's what a word that can work well with that. So how do looks influence personality? We learned a new word or a new idiom. I want to say last week or a couple weeks ago, where we had pretty. You're also a people pleaser. I mean, I've been accused of it. I don't feel like I am. I feel like I'm independent. But nah, I don't know. Pretty privilege. Have you heard this term? And I'm privileged. So pretty privilege. So you can talk about that. How do looks influence personalities? Some people have so-called pretty privilege, where things come easier to them. Scientists have done research and found that people who are considered attractive by many people end up having more money, more good things happen to them. I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that they are happier, but things happen more for them. Yeah. The personality has changed during the years. That's normal for human. is a formula of life, is a change, right? Hopefully, right? Hopefully we evolve and become better people. That's the hope, right? So have you noticed anything with how looks influence personality? Maybe if someone is constantly told as a child that they are unattractive or so, they carry this with them into adulthood. Maybe it makes them a little bit shyer. Maybe it makes them more reserved. I don't know. So, Juan Carlos, I think my personality has always been the same. What has changed in me are the things that I left behind that make me a better person. Congratulations to you. I'm happy that a lot of people here seem to be working on themselves, want to be better people, and that's a wonderful thing to be part of, definitely. So not many people are answering number one. Maybe you're writing. It is kind of a complicated question. If you would want to write more about this and put it into the comments, you're more than welcome to do so. I will respond. You know me, it's going to take a day or two, but I will definitely respond. I always want to hear what you have to say. Renee says, I think that environment plays the most pivotal part in our personality. I don't know, but I don't know. Seems like nowadays also internet changes our personality. Yeah, that's an interesting point too. Yeah, definitely. I guess this is kind of going actually more into number two as well. So how much of our personality is formed by our environment or by nature? I think of like maybe conservative countries where maybe women play a role in, or the role that women play in conservative countries is one that's more reserved, that's one that's sort of behind the scenes. That would definitely affect your personality, I would think. Or the opposite. If you come from a country that's completely, liberal, let's say, then that would affect your personality as a woman, I would say, and as a man. So I think that environment, absolutely. So nature, and it's always this nature versus nurture. How does that play a role in our personality? Nature, oops, not mature, nature. And for me, I'm always interested in nature versus nurture because I'm adopted, so I have no idea. Nurture, so this is something that's always something that fascinates me. And I think that this can affect our personality as well. Maybe there's something in our DNA. Maybe there's a shy gene. I have no idea. Maybe somebody knows something about this, like what in our DNA can sort of affect our personality. I did do a DNA test, ancestry.com, and they did all of these like extra little things that you could have tested. And one of them was like how much of a risk taker you are. And I think that's part of your personality. And I was a big risk taker. So genetically, somehow, I'm a big risk taker. But they also said a lot of stuff that was totally baloney. Like it said that, you hate cilantro, so coriander, and I love it. I mean, I will eat it plain. So a lot of that's also still hocus pocus, I think. But still, I don't really understand the first question. Okay. So, like if you are a very attractive person or a very unattractive person or a very average looking person, how does this affect your personality? And thank you very much, Hiki, for asking. Thank you. Me too. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Thank you guys for letting me know. So yeah. So how does the way you actually physically look, how does this affect your personality? What can you tell me? So, and how much do you think can you see things in yourself where you see that your environment has sort of affected the way that you are? Or do you see things that have been kind of passed down perhaps within your family? Aha. Yeah. Aha. And we'll kind of do all three of them at once. Why not? How does one's person's character affect those personalities around them? So for me, I think that like if you put out positive energy from your personality, you let it shine, then it also affects other people and it brightens their day. I think we have really strong influence over people, both negatively and positively. A person's character can significantly influence the personalities and behaviors of those around them through various mechanisms, including social dynamics, emotional contingent, I'm not sure, contingent, I'm not sure, and role modeling. Okay, yeah. So a person's character can significantly influence the personalities and behaviors of those around them. Definitely. And they say, like, for example, they say that smiling is contagious. Have you seen these videos? And let me write the word contagious real quick. Contagious is when you can catch it. So, like a cold, if somebody, and then you sneezes and then you get it, then that is contagious. And they say smiling is contagious. For my Latin-based language-based friends, this is probably a very easy word for you. Contagious. So contagious. I hope I've spelled that right. Let me try it again. Contagious. All right. And they say smiling is contagious. Maybe you've seen these videos where people are standing at a bus stop and someone, just as an experiment, starts smiling and laughing. And it's not long. I mean, and is that nothing. There's nothing in particular. Maybe they're reading something and they start laughing and they keep on laughing and they keep on laughing. And the first couple of moments, people were kind of looking like, what's this? And then like after like 2 or 3 minutes, not a long time, of this person continuously laughing, then, everyone around starts laughing and they have no idea why they're laughing, but somehow this like other person laughing is somehow, I don't know, it's contagious. You can't help but laugh. You can't help but smile. Positivity is contagious, exactly. And also negativity, I think too. If somebody comes at you and they throw their bad mood at you, then it's kind of hard to block that. So yeah, it's good if we're aware of these things, I think. COVID was contagious. Thank you. Perfect example. Exactly, Srideb. So yeah, I saw that video of the man laughing. It's contagious. Yeah, I've seen a couple of videos at a bus stop, on a train. I would love to try it one day just to see, because I think it's interesting, because I find myself, even when I'm watching these videos, I start laughing. You're like laughing with everyone. That's how social of an animal we are, actually, I think. Yes, I think that physical appearance may influence the personality. If you are a good-looking person, you are more positive and sure of yourself. Chances are, maybe, right? Okay, let's hop on to our next point. Let me just kind of see where we're going. For those of you who do not already follow my account, you can find it. Look at me. Ta-da! It's right there. And please be sure to like this live stream. I don't know if during the live, if you can do that, or after. It would really help me out to be able to promote our lives. Yeah, thank you. So let's move on to some idioms. And Juan Carlos, what do you have to say? Looking good improves our self-esteem. And it seems like people want to be around good-looking people. So that's another thing. Like, you kind of admire someone who's attractive and you're like, I don't know, there's something that you want to be around them. I don't know why, because it doesn't mean they're a good person. There are plenty of people that look really good that are not nice people. So, excuse me, so I don't really get it. If we put a smile on our face, we look good. Yes, absolutely. All right, let's move on to some idioms that I've got for you here. And here we go. So we have an old soul. We have a wolf in sheep's clothing. All bark and no bite. A social butterfly. And our definitions: someone who talks someone who talks tough but doesn't follow through. A very outgoing social person. Someone who appears friendly but has hidden motives. A person who is wise beyond their years. So are any of these new, or how many, let's say this, how many of these do you know already? Yeah, if a person is positive, if a person is positive, it attracts also negative people. So we should be aware when we choose the people that we stay. Maybe like the people who are in our lives, I think. I just watched a video recently that was suggested to me on Instagram saying that like basically the most important decision you will ever make in your life is who your partner is. And yeah, I have to agree with that, right? I mean, that will affect everything in your life. If you're with someone who is a teammate, who has your back, who you can trust, who's positive, inspires you, and you can inspire them, and you can do all of this, having that kind of existence as opposed to the opposite, it's, yeah, the most important decision, finding the right partner. I agree with that, I have to say. I think that's what you're saying to some extent. So how many of these idioms do you know? How many are new? And we can start matching number one. So an old soul. So Natalia, you're saying an old soul. One is D, a person who is wise beyond their years, right? So an old soul. I think my son is an old soul. We always joke and say he's like a first lifer because practical things he does not get at all. But like these internal things, he just understands how things in life work. He just doesn't understand how life works. Okay, Lorena's none are new or old. All of these are new. Cool. Oh my gosh, wonderful. Because these again are all ones that we really use. Okay, cool. An old soul. Do any of you feel like you are an old soul? Renit's already on to number two, no stress. While you're answering number two, you can also tell me, are you an old soul? Do you think you're like we don't really say new soul so much, but like, are you an old soul? Yes or no? So number two, a wolf in sheep's clothing. We have number two, and we have several guesses for that already. We have two is C. All of them are understandable, right? So they might be new, but I think they're kind of logical, right? Okay, good. So a wolf in sheep's clothing. So C, someone who appears to be friendly, but has hidden motives, right? So that person's such a sheep in wolf's clothing. They pretend to be kind and good, but actually inside. Number three. So Sridev, my dear, you're saying three is A, all bark and no bite. Is someone who talks tough but doesn't follow through. Exactly. So number three is absolutely A, someone who's like got a big game. They're like talking and like they're very aggressive, but actually they don't really mean it. So yeah. And then last but not least, Sridev is saying four is B, a social butterfly is someone that is very outgoing, and a social person is a social butterfly. Yes, I got called that in the 6th grade or 7th grade. You're such a social butterfly. So I can be, but also not. So just to recap here, we have 1 is D, 2 is C, 3 is A, and 4 is B. So those are our answers. I will post these slides here on YouTube so that you will be able to see them again in a couple of days to review them. A social butterfly. Yeah, good. Yuki, it's good that you write these things because it helps to keep it in your head. Yes. This is my 3rd cup of coffee, by the way. I'm really being very naughty today. But I need it. I'm so I don't know, I can't get motivated somehow today. But this is helping. This is really good. Let's move on and let's talk about tests and beliefs when it comes to personality. There are so many things out there nowadays when it comes to testing your personality, like everything from answer these 10 questions in this quiz to scientifically researched personality quizzes to things you can find maybe on LinkedIn to see what kind of business you should go into. So let's see. Number one, number one, have you ever taken a personality test, the MBTI? So there's a Myers-Briggs something or other test. Was the result accurate? So there's this Myers-Briggs personality test. I don't know if you've heard of it. I will write it here in the comments, but it's actually really interesting. It could be a fun way to practice your English. I think hyphen Briggs. And I don't remember what the T and the I are for, but I'll pop it up there for you. And you can take this test for free online. There's like, it's the longest test ever. So it is definitely an investment of your time. But there's like 200 questions or something like that. And basically they ask you all kinds of questions, and then they categorize people into like 16 categories. And like E for extrovert, I for introvert, P for perceiving, like being sort of like being able to feel things, or J for judging. So you have these 4 letters that belong to your name. Does anyone know this test? So social butterfly. Hello, Gloria, darling. I am a social butterfly in social media, but not in real life. Yes, okay. And that can happen too, right? Where we feel a little bit more comfortable, not face to face. I've noticed that. I've had a friend before who, in writing text and on social media, was super funny. And then in person, a little bit more reserved. And I found that a very interesting dynamic. Alessio, I saw a video where they showed 2 versions of the same woman. First, well-dressed and made up. The second version, she was dressed normally. The result, just the first got the job because of her confidence. Yeah. And I mean, and I think that makes sense, right? If we wear something and we've done our makeup and hair, maybe not men, I don't know. But like if we're wearing something that we feel good in, we feel good about ourselves, then it's definitely a confidence thing. Yes, I've taken one time and I think it was somewhat accurate. Renee, do you remember what you were? I'm curious about that test. Alessia, when you take it, let me know your result, if you don't mind. I won't do anything sinister with it. Let's see. I have done Enneagram tests, and it is very accurate. I don't know that test. So for me, with the Myers-Briggs thing, I'm an ENFP. Oops, not D. It's ENFP. I'm not sure what that is. ENFP. I wonder if that's the same thing. What are your letter? Oh, okay, something different. Okay. I don't know that. Here, I'm going to pop yours up. This is what I am in the Myers-Briggs thing. But I'm going to pop yours up because I'm going to screenshot it because I want to take that test. So we have Myers-Briggs personality test. Is that free? Gloria, is that free? Never heard about it. Okay. Because I feel like that my definition of an ENFP is so spot on. It's crazy. I mean, like they will even tell you, like if you go on Pinterest and you type in your Myers-Briggs personality category, I guess, then not for free. Okay. Well, then I won't participate in that one. I am broke. I am so in the red this month. So if you are in the red, you are minus on your account. In the red. Here we go. In the red. I'm broke. In the red. What does this kind of test say? So basically they try to figure out what your personality is like. They will say, how will you react in a situation like this? How important is this for you? And you can say very important, somewhat important, unimportant, not at all important. So you take this test. It's really intense. The Myers-Briggs one, at least, is extremely intensive. But it's interesting. It's interesting to see. And so if any of you choose to end up taking that test, you can find them online. In fact, maybe I can try to find, not right now, I guess. Well, maybe I could. I don't know. I'm going to pop out real quick. I'm going to try to find it. No, maybe I won't. I will put it in the, sorry. I will put it in the comments, like a link or something, or where you can find one of these tests. You're going to need a lot of time. Maybe even you want to do it in your own language or for fun. It could be a nice little English challenge, but it's intense, but it's interesting. Let's see. Some modern psychologists use it. Okay, Gloria, I don't know that test, but you felt that it fits your personality. Okay, and what do you think about number 2? So what is your blood type? And I can tell you different blood types. And do you think personality is related to blood type? And just to give you different, I don't know how it is in your language, so I will just tell you different blood types. We have blood type A, blood type B, blood type AB, and blood type O. So maybe you can write your blood type if you know it in the comments, and I can read, because I've asked ChatGPT what are the different personality traits that are supposed to be linked to the different blood types. So if you read your blood type to me, either blood type A, B, AB, or O, or I don't know, you can tell me that as well. And I can read it for you and tell you, and you can say, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think blood type can determine your personality? I know that my girlfriend, she was super into the blood type diet. And so I'm blood type O, and I'm not supposed to eat carbs. And that's true, actually. I feel like when I eat bread, if I eat pasta, if I eat rice, I can feel my blood sugar spike, as opposed to when I eat a lot of protein. And then I'm pretty constant throughout the day. Oh my God, I don't know my blood type. Yeah, you need to know that. That's important. Like if you get injured or so, it's super important to know your blood type. Okay, so don't know that, okay. But no stress. If you find out what your blood type is, Alessio, let me know and I can send you what the personality is that's linked to your blood type. Does anybody know their blood type? I can tell you, so let's take mine, okay, because you know me. So blood type O, they say confident, outgoing, and natural leaders, optimistic and goal-oriented, friendly and generous, but not competitive, maybe stubborn and overly self-reliant, meaning that you're very independent to a point where it's not good. And actually that fits me pretty well, I would have to say. Yeah, all of that's pretty true. I don't think the blood type is related to personality. You're O as well, okay? I have done a blood type diet too. Really? Okay. So yeah, so no carbs for us. So what Gloria, confident, outgoing, natural leader, optimistic goal leader, friendly and generous, but competitive, maybe stubborn or overly self-reliant. So Yuki, you're O as well. Okay, so what do you think? So Gloria and Yuki, you are both O's like me. Do these characteristics apply to you? I am O, but I think it's nonsense to categorize 4 or 5 types of people. Yes. Maybe it's, oh, because we have the O community here. Okay, so we can all donate blood to each other. Yes, I'm like that totally. Yeah, me too. Yuki, what about you? What about you, Sridhar? Do these match your characteristics as well? That's so funny. Maybe people with the blood O type. We had yesterday the idiom, birds of a feather flock together. So maybe in this case, the O types, they flock together. Maybe everybody in this group is somehow O and we don't really realize it. That would be really weird. Anyway, okay, let's move on. If you figure out what your blood type is and you would like to know what ChatGPT is saying, send me a message and I will happily send it to you. Hello, Marcia, dear. Welcome. You're B. Okay, let's see. So Marcia's B. Let's test this now. Okay, so let's see. So B, creative, energetic, and curious, independent independent and adventurous, strong-willed, passionate, can be unpredictable or selfish at times. What do you think? Does that describe you and your B type? So now I think that it has more to do with personality for sure. Happy to learn new things. I have no idea. Maybe not. Maybe we just got, no way. So this fits her as well. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Well, that's kind of a fun thing. I mean, yeah, who knows, right? All right, let's move on to some cultural perspectives. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your blood types. So one, Carlos, I don't think our personality is made up of our blood type. I think it is based on our beliefs and our values. funny. My husband is B, but he is not that type. Okay, so that doesn't work for him. What about O minus? I don't know. I don't know what O minus is. I only know just the neutral ones here. I am O, but I think there is no relation with personality. So Lorena, do you feel though that some of the characteristics matched you or not really at all or not at all? Anyway, it's kind of fun though. I mean, it's sort of, hocus pocus stuff. And sometimes if you don't take these things too seriously, I like these kinds of things sometimes. It's kind of fun. Life is so serious and we have to have a little bit of fun. So here we go. Cultural perspectives. So one, how would you describe the people in your country to a foreigner? So let's say an alien, like I had yesterday with Mike. So you have an alien that lands, doop, in your country, and you have to explain kind of the mentality, the personality of the people in your country. Now, I know this is generalizing, and that's not necessarily a good thing, but for the sake of practicing of our English and having fun, those are my shoes. The doorbell is ringing. I just ordered shoes and I'm very excited. Would y'all mind too terribly if I go and answer the door really quickly? This is no, they'll just deliver them. I'll get them tomorrow. It's fun. It is fun, right? If you don't take it seriously. Let's see if they're going to ring my neighbor. I don't know. I ordered really cute shoes, massively on sale. I've had them on my radar. Okay. So how would you describe the people in your country to a foreigner? What would you say? So Americans, he's not giving up. He is not giving up that doorbell, the mailman. How would you describe the people in your country to a foreigner? What would you say? Go ahead and get, okay, thank you. I was looking for permission. I'll be right back. Talk about yourself, write about your countries. While you're writing, I will go and answer the door. Okay, my shoes are here. Let's see. Okay, so what can you show your shoes? Okay, hey Hugo. Okay, your shoes. Okay, we'll do a little unboxing thing. This is like the weirdest English class ever. All right, so let's see. I don't know, but people that live generally in villages in my country are known for their hospitality. Okay. Hello, David. In Italian, we speak with gestures. Okay, so that's part of your personality. Like words and feelings have hand gestures. All right, so we're going to do a little unboxing here. I've got my shoes. I hope they're beautiful. I need tennis shoes that I can wear when I travel because I always wear very uncomfortable shoes. And so let's see what they're going to be. Anybody else want to share? I would say Americans, personality-wise, overly confident. Like meaning that, like, if you ask an American, do you speak a foreign language? They'll say, yeah, a little bit, but they probably had 1 year of a language or two. So we are overly confident. We think that, like, we're the best somehow. What else can we say about Americans? I think Americans are kind of like big kids. We want to have fun all the time. And I like that about Americans. I think that's really great. Brazilians are very friendly. Japanese are really shy and modest. Okay. What else would you say is a personality trait for people in your country? My shoes are nearly here. I'm so excited. I wish Hitoko was here because she loves this brand. I got these massively on sale. Massively on sale. Still stupidly expensive. This is why I'm in the red. But I was like, we're going to travel soon, and I want a nice pair of shoes that are actually comfortable. So let's see what they look like. Oh, there's a rubber band thingy on them. So let's see. Y'all ready? Thank you for being open to my little unboxing ceremony here. American people are very positive, yeah. All right. So I've got a tennis shoe that kind of is like a dressy tennis shoe. Like, I don't really like tennis shoes, but these are cute. I think these are fun. I can wear this with a dress. I can wear these with pants. I can wear these with jeans. I think that's cute. So I think if they fit, I'm keeping them. So that's what they look like. That's my little tennis shoe. So most of us are sunny and fun. You Italians. Okay, cool. What else can you tell me? Anything else? Thank you guys for your patience with me. I am so happy. I'm so broke. I am so broke, but I am so happy. I'm gonna love these shoes. And I am one of these people that, thank you, Loretta. I will wear these shoes until they fall apart. So sometimes I am silly and invest too much money in something, but I literally, I've had this sweater for probably 10 years. So, I keep things forever. Thank you guys. I'm glad you like my tennis shoes. And you'll never see them in a live stream other than now. So yes, thank you. Thank you for your patience with me. All right. So let's see. I love sneakers. See, I'm not really like a sneakerhead. I'm like not a sneaker freak. So I need something like this. It's kind of like something between like a dressy shoe and something that's like a tennis shoe, something practical. Where's our teacher? She's back from outer space. So let's see. Let's move on to number 2. Interesting question, right? So how would you describe the personality of your country's leader? And do you like it? This is an interesting question for me. So what are you saying about your leader? I have a lot of Italians here. We have Yuki from Japan. We have Juan Carlos. I think that you're originally from Mexico, I think. One time in my house, we gave a home to a homeless person. I think he was from Guatemala. He was with us for a while. Okay, so you housed a homeless person, I think, because if you gave them a home, then it means you literally gave them a separate home. And I think what you want to say is that you invited them into your home. You provided a home in this case, maybe as well. That's wonderful. Wow, that's really, really nice. And so are you still in touch with that person? And moving on to number 2, how would you describe the personality of your country's leader? And do you like it? So my case, the United States, our new leader. Can I plead the 5th on this? Yes, that. Okay. So from Mexico, right? I think that's what you mean by yes, that. So, all right. My new president just got elected. Mexican people is very friendly, but the country is living in a difficult situation. Yes. Okay, Gloria, I didn't realize that you were from Mexico. So what is your president or the leader, let's say, of your country? What would you say that they're like? Which characteristics would you give them? In my case now with Trump, I would say loud, not diplomatic, a rule breaker. He thinks outside of the box, which I think in my country, we need something like that. If his way of thinking outside the box is good or not, that's hard to tell. I think he's very much like into his friends. He's a crony. He's into cronyism. Cronyism, all right, we've had this before. Cronyism, we had that yesterday. Which means that, when officials or when people give a preferential treatment to people they know, that's cronyism. How do I get that to go? There we go. So when somebody gets a job just because of someone they know there, not because they're really talented and have the characteristics the one needs. So yeah, so it's hard because I don't really think that Biden did a good job either. So it's not like I'm trying to be anti-Trump or pro-Trump. I'm really kind of sad about my country right now. I feel like it's really gone in a very strange direction, and I'm sad about that. Neither would be good. Let's say that, in my opinion. So, but what do you do? I don't know. So I'm not super crazy about the leaders in my country. I don't know if you're still writing, so I don't want to rush things. Italian prime minister has a strong personality. And I mean, that a strong personality could be good. It could be bad. It could be something in between. Meryl has amazing brands of shoes. Okay, thank you, Mohammed. Japanese leaders change very often. Okay, it's hard to determine his personality. By the time I find out his personality, a new leader comes. Okay, so it's difficult to assign a personality. So Juan Carlos, and with Gloria, what would you say about the leader in Mexico? What kind of personality traits? So maybe good things, bad things, because even a lot of people are anti-Trump, but there are good things too. I like that he says what he thinks. I don't like a lot of the things he thinks, but at least he tries to be semi-transparent. And as a politician, that's very rare. So could be good and bad, depends on the situation. Okay, yeah, and there are things like that, right? Sometimes a lot of people try to paint politicians as black or white, but there are shades of gray. So I like your answer, or I agree with your answer when it comes to politicians. Okay, let's boogie on to our next question. And let's see. Let's move over to some vocabulary. And I think one of these words we learned yesterday, we have a woman as a leader. Okay, and what is she like? So we have ambivert, a word we learned yesterday. So this will be a nice way of trying that word out again. Perceptive, pragmatic, open-minded, strong-willed. And our definitions: someone who focuses on practical and realistic solutions, someone who notices things others might not, someone who is both outgoing and quiet at times. D, someone who does not give up easily. And E, someone who considers different viewpoints. So, okay, what do we have for ambivert? Who remembers that word from yesterday? Brazilian leader is diplomatic. Okay, great. Basically, Japanese prime minister is not so strong, nor outside the box. Okay. And I would think that Japan right now, you would want a strong leader who thinks outside the box. We're kind of in that day and age, right? Where those are characteristics that you need as a leader. Thank you, Sridev. India's leader has become powerful. He developed the defense sector to the next level. Okay. So what can you tell me with number one? One is C. Okay, so ambivert, C, someone who is both outgoing and quiet at times. So I am definitely an ambivert. I'm not really 100% an extrovert. I'm not 100% an introvert. I have moments where I'm either of those two things, and sometimes neither. So what do we have for number two? So number one was C. Number two, what do we got? Number one was C. Number two is do. What can you tell me for number two with perceptive? The Mexican leader is a sheep from the one before her. So when you say she's a sheep, do you mean that she's like a clone? That she's the exact copy? Is that what you mean, Gloria? That she's a clone of the one before her? So you're not getting anything new, for example? So a clone. Oh, I've written that strangely. Hold on, there's a little space there. Clone. I don't know. It's not clicking here. Doop. Having trouble connecting, please check your internet connection. Oh, can y'all see me? I don't know what's going on. Doop. Can you? I'm not sure. I have a little bit of a strange thing going on here. Let me see. Can you see me? Is everything okay? It's saying that my connection is bad. And I wanted to write the word. You can see me. Okay, thank you very much, Hugo. I appreciate that. Clone. All right, thank you. Thank you, Adam. Okay, so clone. It's there we go. Doo-doo. So, yes, so my question was to Gloria. Is the Mexican president, is she a clone? Is she a copy of the one before her? Okay, you can see me. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have our guesses for perceptive. Okay, so number two, Natalia is saying is B, someone who notices things that others might not. Exactly. So you're perceptive. You feel things. You know things. Thank you guys for your feedback. What about pragmatic? What can you tell me about pragmatic? Which one works best with that? We had, hold on, let me look here. Number one was C, number two is B. So A, E, or D? What do you think? Which one works best with pragmatic? And thank you guys for showing up. We have a nice group here. We had 20, but I just lost one. But anyway, it's so nice to have all these people here. If I can ask you a humongous favor, either now or after this live stream is saved, if you can like it, that would be really cool, because I kind of think that like this algorithm here is driven by likes, so if people like it, then that's a good thing. Okay, so we have a lot of people guessing the 3 is A, exactly. So 3 is A, pragmatic, someone who focuses on practical and realistic solutions. I am not a pragmatic person. I'm more of a passionate person, and I will sit and work for 10 hours on a video that I know not many people are going to watch. But I don't care. It's the being an artist, I want to create something. She's a puppeteer from her predecessor. Got it. Aha. Okay, she's a puppet. Okay. Okay, so not necessarily a clone. She's just sort of, now I get what you mean. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's probably a negative thing, I guess. So number 3, open-minded. I have some A's. A lot of people saying A. Yes, okay, so number 3, pragmatic, A. Number 4, open-minded is E, exactly. Someone who considers different points of view. And a lot of you have used that word today to say that as you get older, you feel you are becoming more open-minded, which is a wonderful thing. And last but not least, strong-willed. Number 5 is D. So someone who does not give up easily. And I think, Renee, you used this word earlier. Another kind of word that can work well with that is stubborn. Somebody who's stubborn, they just don't give up. They want to do it their way at some point, right? So another word, strong-willed, stubborn. You don't take no for an answer as another way of saying that I don't take no for an answer, which is true. I don't. So yeah, that's why I've been killing myself on Instagram for so long. So don't take no for an answer. You're stubborn, you're strong-willed, you're going to do the things the way you want to do. All right, let's move on and let's talk about being successful and having leadership. Thank you, Sridhar. So, okay, let's see. Let me find our next slide here. Okay, so talking about success, being successful in leadership. So number 1, what personality traits help people become financially successful? So what would you say? Which personality traits help people become financially successful? Tell me, because I have no idea. I am broke. I'm buying shoes I can't afford. So, I clearly, like, one of them is not spending more money than you have, staying in your budget, right? Let's say that. Maybe that is a nice little recipe for success, being financially success, having a budget and sticking to it. So my American host father was really stubborn, but still a nice and sweet person. Stubborn, tenacious. Yeah, another great word. Super, David. Yeah, tenacious, stubborn, strong-willed. Yeah, don't give up. Exactly. So my first living by example, as you see, my doorbell rang, shoes arrived. I'm totally broke. I do not need to be purchasing these shoes right now. So one rule I would say, or one trait, is being financially, like, sticking to a budget, being a financially intelligent person, living within your means. This is a nice way. Not really a personality trait, but maybe living within your means that you don't spend more than you have, which is something that's kind of foreign to me, as you see. So what personality traits help people become financially successful? There's so many things I would say, that it would be very, very important if you want to have money in life. Maybe planning, planning, like having goals that you want to reach, financial goals, being goal driven. We get early, yeah. So goal driven means that you have goals that you want to achieve. Goal driven, add that one too. Doop, goal driven. Anybody have anything that they want to offer? So I'm not sure. Maybe people are typing. I'll move on to number 2. What personality traits does a leader need? So I guess being a good listener. I think that would be really important as a leader. That would be one thing that I would add to the list. What other things do people need to be a good leader, to be financially successful? And let's just do them all kind of together. To be a good parent. Probably all of those things. I don't know if I knew that I would be richer now, right? I feel like, yeah, here I am like showing all shoes I can't afford. And yeah, so I don't really need to be answering this question. Ambition may be a trait to reach financial success. I think a skilled person has financial success, okay? Maybe informing yourself what personality traits. Maybe being curious, knowing what's out there to invest in. If you have a healthy curiosity, and maybe also being not being gullible. Ooh, this is a good word. Gullible is when you believe everything. And I think when it comes to finances, there are so many shady things out there, many things that can like get you into massive trouble. You have a little bit of money, somebody wants you to invest it, and it can be a bad deal. So to not be gullible, to be financially savvy, to know what you're doing, then that would be a really important thing to be. Goal-driven, consistent, perceptive, social, hardworking, super Sridev, exactly. Good parents need to be patient. Ooh, yeah, especially to teens. Teens and toddlers. Woo! Yes, you need patience, definitely. Maybe tolerance. I think that a good parent needs to have a personality trait where they can remember what it was like when they were a kid. Like, it's sometimes so annoying with kids because they ask you things that are like, as an adult, you're like, why don't you know this? But they can't know this. This is, they're fresh here. And sometimes we forget that they're actually kids and still have so much to learn. A leader must be charismatic. Love that word. I'm going to pop your word up there. Thank you very much. A leader must be charismatic. So as somebody who is charming and interesting and comes across as competent and entertaining. I think like Obama was a very charismatic person. There was something about him that made you want to like him. Yeah. I mean, he was also a very good speaker. So he, was able to charm people that way too with his words, but his energy, his presence, his demeanor, another good word. We're having a lot of nice vocabulary words today. Demean, that I cannot spell. Demeanor. So the way that you act, kind of like the presence you give off is your demeanor. Since it is a neutral word, so you could have sort of a negative demeanor, or you could have a positive demeanor. Sensitive to each domestic and world news, okay? So maybe diplomatic, they should be diplomatic. Enthusiastic, magnetic is okay for a person. Yeah, somebody who's really, yeah, you could say somebody's magnetic. Yeah, there's something about their energy. They're magnetic. Totally. Yeah. It's kind of poetic in a way. So it's not something you would say every day, but it sounds nice. It's good. It's okay. So we're going to scroll on over or continue on to our next point here. Let's see where we're headed. And, okay. I had a couple of words that I had kind of put together just in case we didn't have any. But so financial success, a couple of good words would be disciplined. Let me write, Mel. Yeah, I'll just, boop, boop. Yeah, I'll write them. Connect with people. So financial success, you could say disciplined. So unlike me, Who spends money when they don't need to. Disciplined. Also resilient. I like that word too for financial success. Everything that goes up comes down. So if you invest in something and it doesn't do well, you got to hang in there, especially I guess in the stock market, or you need to bounce back. If you can bounce back, you are resilient. Let me see how to spell it. R-E-S. I have real issues spelling. Peter always jokes with me that I am definitely have some sort of learning disability when it comes to spelling, but I am so old that that didn't exist when I was a child. So, yeah. So you need to be pragmatic, a word we just learned, pragmatic. This is for financial. And another great word, resourceful. So I guess that kind of goes into my curiosity thing. You need to find out what's out there. So these are words that we could attach maybe to financial success. So disciplined, resilient, you bounce back, you're pragmatic. So you find good solutions, resourceful, you find other solutions. And then let's see, what have you got? Result oriented. Yeah, resilient, self-discipline. Our guys must be disciplined. Good parents must be leaders, but with love. I have twins. Nice. Result oriented, it's better to take constructive advice into account to be successful for sure. Like listen to what people are telling you. Sometimes resilient is when something bad happens to you, you pop back, you snap back, you come back to your original state. You don't drown in it. You don't get lost in something negative that's happened. Resilient talks about being durable, that you can come back to something. I hope that helps. So leaders, ones that I have here that we've not said, adaptable is a good one. So you can change. Decisive, so you can make decisions easily. Decisive, you make decisions. You don't sit there and decisive. Maybe empathetic. I don't know. For a leader, though, it would be good, but I wouldn't put that as like the first trait, maybe, because that can also be bad. Maybe your country gets taken over. But a lot of you are saying like thinking outside of the box. So visionary could be thinking outside the box. Demeanor. Demeanor is the way that you behave, your attitude towards things, your demeanor. Hey, Hatoko, darling. I'm just here. Look at your shoes. Love it. Yay. Do you know which ones they are? I know you know that brand. So I was so happy. I'm happy you got to see them. Anyway, so adaptable, decisive, and visionary. Good parents. Let me see. Aha. One that we've not said, which I think is a really good one, is being fair. Being fair to your kids. Sometimes it's hard, especially when you have multiple kids, to be fair, because what one needs, the other one doesn't, and vice versa. So being fair, supportive is another good one. Supportive. Okay. There we go. Fair and supportive. Japanese say failing is mother of success. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I think like exactly. So if you are resilient, when you fail, it's not like you're a loser for life. It means more that you say, okay, what did I do wrong? How do I pick myself up? Where do I go from here? And actually, very interesting, in the 90s, the early 90s, Trump went broke. He went bust. And he said that basically, I think this is a quote that he said. I don't know if he said this from someone else, but it really stuck into my head. He said, you know what? Anybody who has become a millionaire once cannot call themselves successful. You have to become a millionaire, back then millionaire, and then lose it all and build it again. And then you can call yourself a success, because then that shows it wasn't just luck. It wasn't just who you knew. It was about what you did in order to achieve something. So let's see, integrity, communication skills, and the ability to make decisions are important for a good leader. Super sweet, Ev. Love it. All right, let's move on to phrasal verbs. Let's see how many of these you know. Let's see. Oops, nope, we need to go here. All right, so phrasal verbs. Look up to, stand up to, take after, and brush off. What can you tell me? In definitions wise, we have A, to defend oneself or one's beliefs. B, to admire and respect someone. C, to resemble someone in personality or looks. Or D, to ignore someone or something. So what can you tell me? Which one works best with A? Am I watching a replay? I was tied up and started watching. No, this is the live. We're live. Hello to you. Padreo, I think. Hello, welcome, welcome. And yeah, Dita, welcome to you too. Good habits. Hello to you in Brazil. Makes sense. Yeah, I think so too. Like, you can't really say that you're successful if you've only done it once. You need to do it a couple of times. I think that's the same thing like you see a lot with Instagram accounts. People who because a lot of people get lucky with reels, and you get one reel, it goes viral, you get a ton of new followers, but sometimes that's more luck than it is actually knowing what you're doing. And so you have people that will do multiple accounts, get those accounts to high numbers, and then start telling people, this is what you need to do. You need to do something several times in order to be able to really call yourself successful at it. So Lorena, darling, thank you for keeping us on track. Number one is B, and you are absolutely correct. So number one, to look up to. B, to admire and respect someone. Easy. Number two, stand up to. What can you tell me for number two? Number two, to stand up to someone. Number one is B. Number two, what can you tell me? To stand up to. Number two. And for everyone who's here, if you could do me a massive favor, if at some point during or after this live stream, every time I say that, I lose 2 people. It's so hilarious. If you could just click like, that would be so awesome, because last week we had 22 people here, like we do today here as well. And then it was the lowest numbers from my live stream, the lowest number of views. I don't understand it, but I'm trying to do a little bit of a test and see if it has to do with the likes. I don't know. So I'd be really grateful if you can like this after the live stream. So number two, we have A. So to stand out, and exactly right. To stand up to. To defend oneself or one's beliefs, right? So I need to stand up to the person who's being horrible. You can also use this like this: stand up for yourself. I need to stand up for myself. No one's going to do it for me. I have to stand up for myself, and I need to stand up to the person who's being unkind to me. All right, so that's how you can use those in 2 ways. Number 3, take after, thank you everyone, is C. I'm sure it is, I won't even look. To resemble someone in personality or looks. We've had this one before. So we can take after our parents. Maybe we have the same eye color, the same nose. It can also be a character trait. So take after, maybe you're super sensitive or very shy or very outgoing. This can be to take after. It can be physical. It can be sort of characteristics that we have. And last but not least, number 4 is D, to brush off, right? To ignore someone or something. So sometimes it's easy to brush off the comments. I have that sometimes in live streams when people say creepy things, and I just have to kind of brush it off. To ignore it and to move on and to do something else. So if you brush off something, you don't let it affect you. You move on and call it a day. So, and now I have a nice little quiz for us with these phrasal verbs. So we'll go through that right quickly and then head on to something new. Let's see. All right, nice wintry day here. Stand up to, brush off, take after, look up to. Number 1, I always my dad for his hard work and dedication. Which one works best with number 1? What can you say? A good parent should be a good coach for children. Yeah, a good coach, and maybe even a neutral coach. It's really hard as a parent because you have these expectations. Like, I know it with myself. Like with my kids, I see their potential. I see things in them that they don't see in themselves. And so it's really hard to watch them do things from like, no, 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 that is not good for you. But as a parent, you have to step back. It's really hard. Okay, we have one look up to, we have one take after. Okay, so the answer is look up. I always look up to my dad for his hard work and dedication. You respect him, you admire him. Exactly. Number two, what can you tell me with number two? He his boss and demanded better treatment. He his boss, excuse me. And here you can play a little bit with the grammar tense, right? Because this is probably going to be a different grammar tense. What do we have for number two? What can you tell me? Two is stand up. Exactly. So he stood up to his boss and demanded better treatment. And we know this is going to be in the simple past. We have the demanded there. So he stood up to his boss. Otherwise, you would be like, he stands up to his boss every day. And you don't usually do that. You usually do that once. And then it would be he stood up. All right. Number three, Kelly, her mother, who is very easygoing and friendly. What do you think? Kelly, her mother, who is very easygoing and friendly. Strategist. Okay. What do you think? Which one works best with number three? I liked already. Thank you very much, Srideb. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. It's kind of our little test this week because we have a really great turnout. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that helps. Takes after. Exactly. Right? Three. Look after. Now I am right. Number three. Hold on. Now I'm getting all. Three is to take after. Yes. So to take after. So Kelly takes after her mother, who is very easygoing and friendly. Yes, no stress. Exactly. Now you're right. Exactly, Hugo. Exactly, guys. Okay, and last but not least, Sammy. I have to look and see because I'm lost here. Sammy brushed off. So again, simple past, because we don't do this every day. This is something that happened. Sammy brushed off his friend's advice and ended up wishing he hadn't. Right? You brushed it off. You can also do that. Comments that are said to you, people give you advice, you brush it off and say, no, I'm going to be stubborn. I'm going to be tenacious. I'm going to do my own thing. I'm not listening to what you have to say. So Sammy brushed off his friend's advice and ended up wishing he hadn't. I'm thinking that it was a relationship. I don't know. Anyway. Let's moving on to relationships. Let's move on to relationships. Speaking of relationships, it was a nice little segue here. Okay, so number one, what personality traits do you look for in a partner? Okay, wow, I didn't really plan this, but here we are. So what personality traits do you look for in a partner? Yeah, let's stick with number one first, because otherwise it gets too complicated. So number two, to take after. Let's see. Let me take a look for you. Number two was to stand up to. Take after was number three. So number one was look, and I will post these again. Hold on. Let me just show you real quick because that's a little confusing like this. Sorry. You can start answering personality traits you look for in a partner. Natalia, let me help you out, dear. Hold on one sec. We'll go back. So number one, I always look up to my dad for his hard work and dedication. Number two, stands up to it. He stood up to his boss and demanded better treatment. Number three, Kelly takes after her mother, who is very easygoing and friendly. And last but not least, four, Sammy brushed off his friend's advice and ended up wishing he hadn't. All right. Oops, sorry. Let's go back to here. So what can you tell me here? So what personality traits do you look for in a partner? What are some things that are important to you? So I'm sure people are going to say loyalty. A lot of people are going to say loyalty. Actually, I'm going to write down. Let's play a little game. I'm going to write down the ones that I think people are going to say. Hold on, I need paper. Paper. So hold on. I hope they fit because now I'm ruining this. Okay, so I'm going to write down the ones that I think you're going to say. Let's see what you come up with. Personality traits that you look for in a partner. And I've already said what I think number one is. Let's see. Da, da, da. What else might you say? Okay. I'm going to say, okay, these are going to be the ones that I think. Okay, so I am very stubborn. I always brush off others' advice, but I don't cry over spilled milk. Look at you, Yuki, because it is what I chose. Super. Great sentence. Super. And I love throwing in that idiom. Okay, so Alessio, you're saying loyalty. What else do you look for in a partner? Let's get our adjectives flowing about personality traits that you would look for. I have 4 things that I think people are going to answer. So far, loyalty from Alessio is got 1. So loyalty and smart. Ooh, that's a new one. Okay. All right. Let's see. Friendly and smart. Sorry, friendly and smart. I misread that. I don't have that one. Okay. All right. A good kisser. Very important. Absolutely, Adam. Exactly. A good kisser. Takes after. Takes after? Is that so? What do they take after? Srida, what could you tell me, Sri? So what can you tell me? We have loyalty so far as the winner. Of course, loyalty, honesty. Oops, here we go. And more. Number 4 was brushed off. Let me see. I think you're right. Yes, exactly. Number 4 was brushed off. And I will post these slides here on YouTube and on Instagram. Resilient. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So resilient because they bounce back, they don't drown in problems. I think that's good. I think if you're resilient, you have to be positive. And so that's kind of like an automatic thing. Great use of that word. Honesty, full of love. Okay. So I have romantic. Does that count? I look for humor. It's really important to me to be with someone who's funny. I love being around funny person. I want to laugh. You know, life is serious enough as it is. So being with a funny person is really important to me. Of course, loyalty. Someone who's inspiring. You know, I love being together with someone who every day I wake up and I'm like, what is this guy going to say? Positive. Okay. I thought that people would say like maybe, well, I guess with, let's see, Adam, you said good kisser. So let's say romantic, humor, understanding. Yes. And maybe supportive, loyal, honest, adaptable, and understanding. Encouraging could be a good word to add too. Like, go and do it. You can do it. A good communicator, also important. Encouraging. Someone that motivates you. I guess that could also be encouraging. Yeah, okay. So you can continue adding some if you like. Otherwise, I'm going to hop on over to number 2. Is your personality more similar to your father's or your mother's? And in what ways are you alike and different? Diligence. Okay. All right. So are you more like your mom, more like your dad? You can tell me like mom or dad. You can give me more information, like in which way. I have no idea who my mom is, really. So dad-wise, honest, support. Honesty is important. Support is important. So with my dad, everybody tells me that I am so much like my dad. So we have the same sort of, I don't know, it's weird. He's one of these people that I've met in my life where I just instantly connected, a good listener. So I am a lot evidently like my dad was. He's no longer with us, but I was very, very much like him. And the way that I think, the way that I tick, when you say that in the way you tick, this is a cool way of saying this, is like how you function, how you operate, the way you tick. I tick like my dad. You can say. Tick is also an animal that sucks your blood and gets really fat. So not that way, not that meaning. And tick can also be a British check, but tick is also the way that you behave, the way you tick. Responsible. Okay, so let's see. Neither of them. Okay, so you're not like maybe your grandma. Are you a lot like your grandma? Maybe I know you've talked a lot about her. Yeah, or how are you different? How are you different to your mom and dad? Yeah, let me know. So yeah, which ways are you alike? Which ways are you different? I think I'm way more decisive than my dad. He found it impossible to make decisions. And I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Also, I love to travel abroad, so outside of America. And my father really loved traveling, but he loved, no, not a road. But he loved being in America. Going to foreign countries where he didn't speak the language was for him really stressful. He didn't enjoy it, and I love it. It cannot be more exotic. I love it. So I'm different in that sense, but I think humor-wise, heart-wise, sort of energetically, we were very similar. But there's some things that are similar and some things that are different. Yeah. So let's see what you have to say. I'm not sure. It feels like somehow the comments are kind of coming in and like that there's a lapse somehow, like a lapse in time. Strange. I don't know. Because I see it even like with answering on our quizzes that things come in much, much later. I don't know if you have noticed that as well, that I don't read your comments after you've sent them. Maybe it takes some time. Anyway, we have plenty more to do, and it's already an hour and 26 minutes into our lesson. So if you would like to write this, I would super love to hear what you have to say. You can always write it now. I will read it, or you can write it if you're watching the replay. Feel free to write it in the comments. How are you similar and different when it comes to your parents? You can let me know that. So let's see. Okay. I don't know if I have this as okay. I'm not sure if I have a slide for this. Let me take a look and see. No, I don't. Then, okay. So I think these vocabulary words are going to be very easy. So I am going to make this a challenge. All right. So let's first match these suckers. So ambitious, charming, responsible, independent. And we have A, someone who's dependable, B, someone who has a pleasant way of behaving, C, someone who prefers to do things on their own without help, and D, someone who has strong desire to succeed. So Yuki, I was always very isolated from my family. Only thing I took over from my mother was a passion for cooking. Okay, that's how you take after her with your passion for cooking. Okay. Hello, I started watching just when your doorbell rang for your fancy shoes. I'm just in between telling jokes, runs in my family. Okay, no problems. That's nice. Toko, you are so funny. I love interacting with foreign people like my dad. Thanks for sharing. Very cool. Love that. And I'm always happy when you bring your sense of humor to our conversation. I missed encouraging. I'm not sure what that means. I don't know. Oh, encouraging. I don't know. Oh, you missed what that means, or you missed the word? I'm not sure. Sridev, help me out, my dear. So let's see. Ambitious, charming, responsible, independent. A, someone who is dependable. B, someone who has a pleasant way of behaving. And C, someone who prefers to do things on their own without help. And D, someone who has a strong desire to succeed. Okay. So let's see. So ambitious. What can we say with number one? Which one works best with number one? And I'm going to make this difficult, or maybe you can tell me this as like an extra thing right now. We incorporate this into my traits resemble my dad. We're helpful and encouraging. Okay, thank you. So, sorry. So what I'm asking, please, is number one. What does ambitious mean? A, B, C, and D. And tell me the opposite of ambitious, because I think I'm going to guess that many of you already know these words. So let's practice it by adding the opposites right away. What can you tell me? So ambitious, what matches with it best? And which word would you say is the opposite? You can either just answer, or you can also tell me answer and the opposite, or just the opposite. 3 ways. Took after. Yes. If your mom is still alive, you would say you take after. If your mom is no longer alive, you would say take after. Took after. One is D. Okay, so ambitious D, someone who has a strong desire to succeed. Exactly. Ooh, thank you, Alessia, for the opposite. Okay, ambitious is one, D, or lazy. Is the opposite. I like a partner who is intelligent. Hello, Karina, darling. Who is intelligent, brave, very polite, ambitious, hardworking, and deeply in love with me. Yeah. And I want to be deeply in love with the other person too. I want it to be a two-way street. Unambiguous. Ooh, okay. Unambitious. Okay, unambitious. Sorry, I misread. Lorraine, that's what you meant. Yes. So as the opposite of ambitious, thank you very much, Lorena, for typing it. Unambitious, or as Alessio said, also lazy, unmotivated. Yeah, good words. Super. Again, number two, let's hop onto that. You can tell me either the definition, two matches with or you can tell me two, definition and the opposite, or just the opposite. So we had number one, ambitious, the opposite, unambitious. What can you tell me with two? Which definition? Number one was D. Yes, D. Someone who has a strong desire to succeed. I got lost for a second there. So what can you tell me? Number two, charming. Which one works best with that? And give me the opposite if you like. Unpleasant. Okay. All right. I see where we're going with that. I see also unlikable, maybe. It's not the word I'm looking for, but yeah. So two, repugnant. Okay, that's a really good vocabulary word. I have to look it up, actually. Okay, number two, we have B. So charming is someone who has a pleasant way of behaving. And the word that I was looking for, just as a simple thing, was uncharming. And I'm going to actually look up your word. Doop. That's a really good word. Hold on, let me find I don't have my phone here. Aha, I do. So let's do that. What do you have for me for number three? Responsible. Looking for answer and maybe the opposite. Charmless. So uncharming, yeah. Hold on, I'm asking ChatGPT. All right, what have you got for me? Number three, responsible, A, someone who is dependable. And maybe you have an opposite for me as well. So charmless and charming could be the opposite. Repugnant means something that is extremely distasteful, offensive, and unacceptable. Okay, let me put your word up. Irresponsible, exactly. That was the word I was looking for. Let me find repugnant. Look at you. Two, so, all right. So something that is extremely distasteful, offensive, or unacceptable. Our example, thank you, Lorena, is his behavior was repugnant to everyone at the party. So thank you also for a new word for me. I've heard it, just didn't really know what it meant. So thank you. It happens, I'm not a dictionary. All right, moving on to our last one. Number four, independent. Yuki is saying A. Someone who, okay, no, independent. Yeah, someone who is dependable. That's probably responsible. Yes. Number three is A, somebody who is dependable. And last but not least, we have four is C, someone who prefers to do things on their own without help. And what is the opposite of independent? What can you tell me? What can you tell me? What the opposite of independent? And then we will move on to our second to last thing for the day. This is a very long live stream. I hope y'all are comfortable. Let's see. I just had so much. All right. Repugnant. Thank you. So what works best? So the last one, actually. Okay, duh, that's easy. So yeah, independent is four is A, someone who is dependable, and the opposite is somebody who is dependent. Dependent. Thank you, Lorena. Exactly. Dependent. Or another option, let me find, I had a second option for us as well. Let's see where we are here. Lost my track. Reliant is another great word. If you rely on someone, you count on them. You are not dependent, and a person is reliant. Reliant. Also dependent. Reliant, exactly. Super Yuki. Reliant is also the opposite of being independent. You are reliant, typically reliant on someone for something. Or you rely on. Those go well together. Okay, so then let's see where we're headed to. Let's talk about personal hobbies and some happiness and that kind of thing. And let's see, what kinds of things bring you happiness? Like with your personality, like what kinds of things make you overall happy, and what sorts of things are you afraid of? What are things that don't work well with your personality? Can you say? What can you tell me? So, what kinds of things bring you happiness? What sorts of things? So for me, I think like when romantic gestures from Peter, I love that. It doesn't have to be that he gives me something big, but like he can bring me a flower that he's cut from the garden, or some sort of interesting rock he's found on the street. Cooking or baking for someone that makes you happy. Okay. What else? So things that you're afraid of, things that that bring you happiness. And what can you tell me? I would say things I'm afraid of. I'm still afraid of the dark. I don't really like it. It scares me. Like I'm still one of these people that if I get out of bed at night to go to the bathroom, then when I come back, I have to jump in bed because I'm afraid there's something under the bed. It's like, I can't get over that. So yeah, the dark is something that I'm afraid of. Anybody want to share anything that brings them happiness, that's good for their personality? I think when something that's good for me is I listened. It's weird because when I hear people speak, I can feel what their intentions are. And a lot of people have strange intentions. A lot of people say a lot, but I feel they mean something different, usually the opposite. And so, yeah, it makes me happy when someone is when people, I can feel their intentions and their words are matched. Hobby like knitting, exactly. Cooking or baking, that was that. Independent, exactly. So independent. Things you're afraid of, things that bring you happiness. Otherwise, we will slowly continue on. We have one more slide with some idioms. If you want to answer this later on, then you're more than welcome, or you can continue answering, and I will take a look in a minute at your answers. So let's see, let's move on to our last slide of the day. Oops, there we go. And we have some idioms to end our day with. And I'm curious which ones of these are new, which ones of these you already know. To have your head in the clouds, like this gentleman here, set in their ways, a loose cannon, and a wallflower. What do these things mean? We have someone who isn't shy and someone who is shy and doesn't like to stand out. B, a dreamy or impractical person. C, someone predictable or reckless. And D, a person resistant to change. Which one works best with number one? Maybe you can also let me know which ones of these are new. Learning new languages and cultures, yeah, definitely. Playing soccer, jogging on the beach, playing video games, gym, especially when I finish, right? Like getting there is one thing. Once you're finished, it's like, yes. I'm afraid my hands will go numb. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, okay. So let's see, which one works best with number one, to have your head in the clouds? And how many of these do you know? How many of these are new? Curious about that too. So number one, What can you tell me? I'm going to take a little sip of coffee. And as a reminder, if you don't mind, please, please, please like this live stream, because it helps to tell the algorithm that this was not boring. And so, yeah, I think that's what the difference was last week. I don't know. Like I said earlier, last week we had such a great turnout like we did this week, but the likes were far fewer. And then somehow the views are really, really low. So I don't really understand. It's a strange thing, this world that we live in, with trying to kiss up to the algorithm. Read a new book. Okay, number 1B, head in the clouds, a dreamy or impractical person, right? They have their head in the clouds. They're not here on earth. They have their heads somewhere in the clouds. Number 2, set in their ways. What can you tell me works best with set in their ways? We've had number 1. Number 1 was B. Number 2 is... Marcy, and I see a lot of people still here. This is so cool. This is a very long live stream. You really hung in there. Very, very cool. Number 2, Lorena is saying C, someone unpredictable or reckless. Okay, nice try. Nice try, nice try. Not 2 is not C. So let's see. Let's try another guess. Number 1 is B, so B is off the table. So is C. I don't know any of these again. Cool. Oh, I like it, because these are really good ones. Somebody that is set in their ways. What does that kind of feel like? I feel like that one is really, yeah, it makes sense once you know the definition. Sometimes these things don't really make sense, but this one I think really does. Set in their ways. Think of ways of being, like the way you do something. So what do you think? You get to look for the answer. What do you think? Number 2 is... I'll just tell you. Number 2, okay, Lorena's going with D. Exactly, right? So number 2, if someone is set in their ways, they are resistant to change. And quite often, the older we get more and more set in our ways. Oops, D. Exactly. So number 2 is D. And you kind of you get into a routine. You don't want to get out of it. It's just easy. You don't want to think about doing something new. We get set in our ways and we don't like change. So that's that. Number 3, a loose cannon. Maybe this is now easier. A loose cannon. And a cannon is what they used to have on a battlefield. Yes, number 2 is D. Number 1 was B. Number 2 is D. Number 3, a loose cannon. A cannon is what they used to have on the battlefield. They would have these big balls made out of metal of some sort, and then they would put them in, they would shove them in, light the I don't know what that is. It would light, not the switch, I don't know what the ignition thing on there, not the wick, I don't know what the word is, and it would fizzle, and then boom, and it would shoot a big ball out into wherever and try to attack people, to knock down castles and kill the enemy. I just watched the movie Napoleon, and he used cannons every time. And there was a really horrible scene. I don't know if you've seen the movie Napoleon, but there was one scene where he used a cannon. He had all of this army. It was in winter time, and this army, they were fighting the Austrians and the Russians. And he lit cannons, and because there was snow everywhere, I guess they did not realize that they were standing on a lake. And so he shot the cannons, and it punctured holes into the water, and all the soldiers and horses and stuff drowned. It was pretty intense. But yes, cannons. I don't know why. All right, so everyone is saying C, and you are correct. So if someone's like Donald Trump, loose cannon. He says things and you're like, oh my gosh, did he just say that? What in the... So he is 100% a loose cannon, a perfect example of that. Somebody who just does things that are totally unpredictable. Sometimes the things they say are totally reckless. So, and last but not least, exactly, Yuki, for a wallflower, someone who is shy and doesn't want to stand out. This is typically the person, it can be a man or a woman. This is usually the person who stands against the wall at a dance and doesn't want to be noticed, doesn't want to be asked or ask anyone to dance. This is a person who does not want to be in the spotlight. We can say spotlight. I'll put it here. Oops, sorry, Natalia. Spotlight. He is an unpredictable president. Exactly. He's a loose cannon. He's 100% a loose cannon. So as a human in general, not even as a president, not only as a president, just as a person, he's 100% a loose cannon. So in the spotlight, this is a person a wallflower is someone who does not want to be the center of attention, not in the spotlight. They just want to be like unnoticed. Usually a very shy person. So folks, I'm glad to have been able to teach you some new idioms and phrasal verbs, some vocabulary words. Thank you for this amazing practice. We're here now for an hour and 45 minutes. I very, very much appreciate your time. Thank you so very much. Thank you for letting me answer the door and getting my new shoes. And so, yeah, I really appreciate it. Please, I ask again, if you don't mind, please like the video after our live stream today. Let's take a look and see if this somehow changes the algorithm so it promotes this video this week. Yeah, because last week we had a great turnout like we did today. Thank you so much for everyone. I saw a lot of names still here after an hour and 45 minutes. I will not do a quiz this week. I went live with Mike. We did Ewa yesterday. We did the chat yesterday, and we did today. And I don't want to wear out my welcome. Let me put that little idiom in. So if you wear out your welcome, it means you don't want to see them anymore. You're over it. And you want them to kind of go away. So I want you to miss me. So to wear out your welcome. I don't want to wear out my welcome, so I won't do a quiz this week. Yes. And I hope you'll be able to make it to our live streams next week, because I will have a 2-week mini break. I won't do Ewa, but I probably will go live once or twice. I will try. We're going to be in Uganda. We're flying next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday to Uganda. So yeah, so I will do our lives next week. 2-week kind of break, but I would love to go live with you when we see monkeys and things like that. So we'll see. I don't know what my internet connection is going to be. So I've told the folks at Ewa that I will be back on Ewa on, I don't know, I can't remember the day. I think it's the 18th. But I will do live streams as much as I can here on YouTube. I will give you a heads up here, but I will also give you a heads up on Instagram if you're able to join me. Maybe if you hit the bell, then that will notify you when I'm going live, because it probably will be pretty unpredictable. If I'm in a place I have good Wi-Fi, I can share some animals with you, then I'll do it. Thank you, Alessio. Thank you, Marcia. Is it Marcia or Marcia? Like in English, we would say Marcia. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. We hope you will be able to connect with us. Yes, I do too. It'd be so cool. But I didn't want to run the risk with Ewa. I feel this responsibility there. So if we can just play it by ear, I will try to do a live stream, maybe from a safari. Thank you, Yuki dear. Thank you to everyone. And yes, but next week we have our live. Our topic is going to be adventure. Go figure. And so we will have Monday, we'll have Tuesday, we will have Wednesday. So is it Marcia? Marcia with a sh sound, or Marcia? Hello to you. I'm learning English. Well, I'm happy to have you here. And I'm about to say goodbye. And so this live stream now has been going for an hour and 59 minutes. I will say goodbye. If you've just joined, then please feel free to watch the replay and give it a like if you like it, I guess. And have a great evening, guys. Thank you.